I'm Marty Mako in St. Catharines at the downtown bus terminal. For years, city buses have not traveled beyond their respective city limits. Niagara Region Transit emerged as a solution to this back in September of 2011. There's much debate and difference of opinion about the pilot project at a political level, but for some, there's no debate at all.
Well, I really enjoy it because for me, what happens is I really would be limited as far as where I could go without having Niagara Region Transit. As a person in a wheelchair, I'd be limited to staying within the city of Welland, and it really opens doors for me and just broadens what I can do in my life. Right now I'm starting a photography business and I really need to get some shots done through other cities in the region, and I'm able to travel on Niagara Region Transit and I'm able to go here and there and just take pictures. Nice day, hop on the bus, take some pictures, and I can actually get the bus right from my home, transfer onto Niagara Regional Transit, and then transfer in another city and be able to do that. And I also use it a lot for doctor's appointments too. I have a couple specialists that are in St. Catharines. When you have a car and you can just hop in a car, you don't know how much this means to people. But for many people, without having a proper transportation system, they would be either at home or within a few blocks of their house.
Before regional transit, Carleen LeBlanc found getting around Niagara difficult. She relied on taxis and Brock Transit to search for employment. She credits regional transit for helping her find a job in her field.
Before, when I was unemployed, I had to rely on Ontario Works for income until I could find a job. So I started working in the falls at one location, so I was making minimum wage. And now I found something as a result of regional transit, so now I'm working in my career, and it wouldn't be possible without the bus. It would be so difficult for me to get back and forth to work.
Congratulations, that's an amazing success story. I don't think we hear those stories enough.
No, you don't. Sometimes you see in the paper that regional transit may not be doing well, or it might be, I think one regional councillor called it a failure, but when you see somebody who was living on Ontario Works and creating a negative of, say, to the tune of $8,000, now bringing in $30,000+ into the economy, I don't think that's a failure.
Each of Carleen's working days begin here, as she gets on a bus at the Welland Terminal, bound for her office in downtown Niagara Falls. In real time, this commute takes a little over 30 minutes.
I take the bus to work. It gets me right there from point A to point B. There's very few stops along the way, and it takes just about as long as a regular car drive.
And what do you see on the bus? What types of people do you see on an average day?
You see all kinds of people. You see people going to work every day. I know I'm not the only one. I see a lot of people heading to the falls that work at the hotels. You can see them in their uniform when they get on the bus. You see some people that are heading to adult continuing education. There's a couple locations in Niagara Falls, and I see these people head out every day to go to their classes and so forth, or people who just maybe want to go to the casino, something they want to do with their spare time.
The Niagara Poverty Reduction Network has been watching the pilot project closely. Rhonda Barron sits on that committee and says that the link between poverty and transportation presents a compelling argument for the continuation of the service.
Well, we know that for Niagara folks, transportation is a major access barrier. And regional transit programs can be a real lifeline, making that link for people living in poverty, to be able to access educational opportunities, employment opportunities, especially during times of, tough economic times. I think, a regional transit service is vital to the economic growth of our community.
It's being called a pilot project so far. Does your transportation working group have any feedback on the pilot so far? Do you think it's going well?
Well, we just saw a couple of weeks ago in the paper that there's been increased ridership, that the regional transit services, they're meeting their quotas, or certainly coming close to meeting their quotas, in terms of what their estimated use patterns were. So I think that, it takes time for a service like this to mature, and, I think it's definitely heading in the right direction. I think that there's some issues to sort out in terms of how it's going to move forward in the future, but
the issues Rhonda refers to are being debated now. They revolve around the continuation of the pilot project and how a long-term service would operate. At this point, it appears that the option of having one service provider take over wouldn't get the needed political support. While the debate goes on, transit users like Marilyn hope politicians don't lose sight of residents like her.
for me, I think Niagara Falls is one of the wonders of the world. And we live just 20 minutes, half an hour away. But without this service, we can't even get to it, where we have people coming from all around the world to see this wonder. And I think this is something that you just can't take it away from people. It's something that is really needed, and I think there's many things that we have that are subsidized by the government, and transportation is something that needs to be subsidized.
I'd like to thank Carleen, Marilyn, and Rhonda for sharing their personal stories with us. I feel that access to safe and affordable transportation should not be a barrier for anyone to get from city to city within the Niagara region. What do you think? Please share your thoughts and opinions on our Facebook and Twitter pages. Until next time, I'm Marty Mako for The Source on TV Cogeco.